You guys, it's been a hot minute since we had a questions with Kate episode, but I keep getting a very similar version of this question. So I thought I would answer it today to help in the future if you have the same question. The question is, hey Kate, is there any way you could go into how you only have one savings account and no sinking funds? I think I've asked you before, but it was a while ago. How do you handle making sure you don't overspend on a vacation and pull out more than intended? How do you get started on only one account instead of having several? I'm noticing it's getting harder and more annoying keeping up with sinking funds and my emergency fund, making sure everything gets something each paycheck. Thank you. Well, so the way this is spelled, it looks to me like Emerald Dancer. Is it Emerald Dancer? I love that name. Like, I think it should be the name of a store or something. You guys know I love dance, and Emerald Dancer just sounds fancy. If it's not, I apologize. It's kind of like when I'm reading a license plate and I assume it means this, but I could be totally wrong. But anyway, thank you for this question. I will do my absolute best to answer it in true Kate style fashion. I don't do what everyone else does. So you might hear how I do things and you say, oh, but so-and-so says you're supposed to do this and so-and-so says you're supposed to do this. I like to take pieces of what works for me and then make my magic happen. I suggest you do the same. You don't have to do everything I do, but take pieces that make sense, that's gonna make your finances better, and use it. You don't like something I say? Don't use it. Use something else from somewhere else or something that just makes sense to you, okay? So just always remember that when you're listening to this. So the first layer of how I think is number one, build your budget buffer. Your budget buffer is 1 month of expenses in your checking at all times. You can use all the frugal living tips on this channel, all my budgeting tips to make this happen, but you wanna make sure you have 1 month of expenses in your checking at all time. Yeah, I said your checking. Some people fight me on this. They're like, you should put that in a high yield savings. For me, I'm not sweating the interest on $3,000 for my peace of mind. I'm just not. That's just the way I choose to do it. So if you get a checking that has a little bit of, benefits, do that. But I'm not sweating it. Let's just say we're at $3,000. Now, the other thing that you got to know for me is $3,000 in my checking account in my brain equals 0. What are you talking about, Kate? You have $3,000. Yes, but that's bare minimum. In my mind, $3,000 is the bare minimum. So if I have $3,000 in my checking, I basically have nothing. But I'm covered. You know what I mean? But that's where my brain goes. Once you have that budget buffer built, so that budget buffer is going to catch you when you overspend, when you have like not a full emergency, but maybe a mini emergency. You have something that comes up that, it's not life or death, but you need the money, right? It's a catch-all. It's a beautiful thing. That budget buffer is going to save your hiney more than you can even imagine, right? So when we're thinking about savings, you want to build your emergency fund next. This budget buffer is like your mini catch-all. Then you're going to build 3 to 6 months of expenses. So say, for example, your expenses are $3,000 a month, and we're going to go with like kind of the lower end, more toward 3 months. I would round up. 3 months times 3,000 is 9,000. I'd round that up to 10,000. So say you are trying to save $10,000 for your emergency fund. Now this is truly for the emergency. You get sick, you lose your job, like the big stuff, a true emergency. Not Christmas, you know what I mean? That's not an emergency. You know the drill. So then you want to build that up. Now this, you want to build up in a high yield savings. Like that would be your best bet because then you're going to earn interest, right? So you want to put this $10,000, build it up in a high yield savings. Okay. So now, once in my brain, again, just sharing how I think, once that $10,000 is in there, earning a little interest. What does that $10,000 equal in my mind? 0. I know you guys are like, what's wrong with her? Again, That's the bare minimum. I'm getting to the point of why I do it this way, right? $10,000 now equals nothing. It is in there, but that is, again, bare bones baseline in my brain, and nothing touches that $10,000. Okay? Now, some of you are gonna be like, okay, then what goes on next? Anything beyond the $10,000 is my general sinking fund. Okay? And that could go toward a vacation, that could go toward anything I want, and that's going to be in my savings account and beyond the $10,000. Because again, that $10,000, it's there? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Whatever you normally want to sink, I sink that all into one sinking fund. My brain, with all the things on my plate, I cannot and will not and have no interest in putting a sinking fund for car, a sinking fund for vacation, a sinking fund for pets, my brain doesn't operate that way, and it's not my most effective use of brain power and time to try to think of it like that. This works for me, so I do it. If making those categories help you, then maybe you have to do it that way. But I'm telling you, this is so much more simplified and easy, and I don't stress about it at all, to be very honest. While we're talking about this, another example of things that I will not do and have no interest in is like the cash envelope system. Many people love the cash envelope system. It works like a charm for them. They swear by it. They live by it, and it's awesome. Me? No way. No way. Like, my brain won't, not interested. The way that I do things, I do it digitally with every dollar. My brain works that way. It makes sense. I don't want to have 1 million checking accounts and savings accounts and sinking fund. I don't want it. I get the checking, I get the savings. But what I also do is, I know, like, one part of this question was, how do you not overspend on vacation? So if I know I've got a $2,000 vacation that I'm intending to spend, right? So let's just say I have my $10,000, I've got $2,000 in there. Beyond that, I've got $12,000. I know I've got that $2,000, and that's vacation money. And I've planned for it and I've budgeted for it. In my mind, I just allocate how much is needed, and that's beyond the $10,000, right? So I just go from there. And I know that sounds maybe oversimplified, but it just works for me. Never touch the $10,000. That is zero. That is not even there. It really is there earning money, but it's not there. You don't touch it. That's for extreme emergency. That budget buffer, on the other hand, just so you know, it's a little wiggle room. If you spend a little bit there, you can build that back up whenever you need to and let it rise and fall a little bit. That's the way my brain works. I've got like the short term and I've got the long term. And that works for me. Here's another layer of savings for your future self that I want to be very clear about, because I wish somebody had told me sooner. I wish I would have paid attention. I wish it had been on my radar, and it was not. And I told you guys, I wish I could have started investing in my teens if I'd known about it. My late teens, 20s, 30s. Oh wait, I did start in my 30s, but I wish I had done it sooner, right? So I invest in Maine State Retirement because I work at a school, and that comes automatically deducted out of my paycheck every single month, twice a month, and I don't even think about it. So that's like automatically done, investing in my future. If you have a 401k, please contribute up to the match if you can. It's free money. If you don't have an employer-sponsored situation, Roth IRA from Fidelity or another place, there's a couple other places you can do. That's what I did starting my late 30s. The money that is making money is going to make the big difference in the end, okay? All the savings for these special things are awesome, but big picture, don't let the retirement slide. I know it's a very scary topic for some people, but explore. Talk to your HR person if you have a job where you have an HR person, And if not, look into a Roth IRA. There's other versions of IRAs. Again, just YouTube, Google. There's so much content out there to find the best option for you, but don't sleep on the retirement savings. It's gonna make a huge difference. If I hadn't started, I don't know. I'm so grateful that I finally took the initiative to do it. So don't let another day go by. Do it now, do it today. Back to the initial question. So say you've got that 10,000 in your emergency fund and then you're building past the 10,000 for your general sinking fund. I mean, it depends how many goals you have too and how many things you're saving for, but I like having that giant pot to pull from. I don't know, for some reason that feels good to me. So maybe make a list of what you're trying to save for. Maybe just jot out how much each you want it to be, and then just keep it together and only use that amount. It's very simple. It's not like, I don't make this complicated by any means. Just how much do you need? And then use that amount beyond the 10,000. Because what does that actually equal? 0, it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. Other creators that share their budgets, they have like 20 categories. I have 4, and I've always had 4 since I started doing this and sharing my way of doing it. That savings, which is your saving for your future self, your investments, retirement, etc. Your household, which is your essentials. Giving, because living is giving. And 4 is lifestyle. That's all your choices. It's the icing on the cake. I would never have so many categories that my mind just gets scrambled. I would never have, I don't like binders and like that kind of stuff with stickers. Some people do that kind of stuff. I get the value in it, but for me, I would never do it that way because my brain doesn't function that way. I use every dollar and that's it. Like, that's it. That's it. You can use pen and paper. You don't have to do technology if you don't want to. But for me, all that is tiddlywinks. If Kaden is watching this right now, he would just die laughing. We watched this show called High Potential. And anyway, if you watch High Potential, let me know in the comments. I hope that helps explain how I do my general sinking fund and not broken up, because Kate's brain doesn't function that way. I don't want to function that way. It's too much. I like to keep things as simple as possible. Some of you might think that's different and you think that the way I do it is more complicated. I get it. So use what works for you. Don't waste your time on the tiddlywinks, which means the unnecessary, possibly the waste of your time. Don't waste your time doing things that are gonna make it more complicated. Keep it simple and get the job done. That's what you wanna do. All right, K-Squad, time for you to weigh in. Let us know in the comments, how do you do it? Are you doing sinking funds? Do you not do sinking funds? Let us know below. If you enjoyed this discussion in any way, hit the thumbs up so we can get this content out to more people that want to talk about this kind of stuff, because these are my favorite topics, you guys. Keep the questions coming. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to see a little bit more, because I know you're not done yet, click on this video next for the next video. I'll see you there. Bye, guys.